This one followed the same path as three of them within a quarter of a mile.
In Gallatin.
And from Gallatin on out there.
This one came right up Gallatin Road out of Nashville. And then the one that came to Station Camp went right, started at Gosford, came up right out Long Hollow. But they both went to Gallatin the same way.
Okay, let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. Somebody want to lead an invocation? I will. Let's take a moment and pray. Our Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you that everyone in Hendersonville and in Sumner County was spared their health and their lives during the storm. We pray for the people who are struggling with property damage. We pray that you would guide our minds tonight as we go through this agenda. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. And we got approval of agenda. We need a motion to approve the agenda. And a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay, now we got election of chairman. And let's open the floor to nominations for chairman. What do we do this every couple of years? Kim?
Probably already had it, chairman. You were the chairman.
Well, yeah, but you've got the election of chairman, so I figure we're doing it again.
Who made this? That's you. Say what? Okay.
I say we cease nominations and keep as is.
Yeah.
Make a motion.
Yeah, can we do that for all the officers, or do we need to do them individually?
Deanne was the
I was
vice
gonna
chair.
say Deanne was the vice, so we'll need to do vice.
Okay, we need a vice chair then. We need a nomination for vice chair. We can do them all together. Sound good? Somebody want to be vice chair? Nominate yourself.
Mike, right? You want to be vice chair?
I'm not Mike.
You're not, who are you? Aaron. Aaron, you want to be vice chair? Okay. Make Aaron vice chair.
Nomination, Aaron for vice chair.
Second.
And a second, secretary was who? Anybody remember?
I don't think we.
I don't.
Do we need a secretary? Vice chairman, and we've added Aaron Ehlert as nominee for vice chairman. All those in favor of that signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? And we are now elected again. Recognition of the public. We don't have any public members, do we? And we're ready for new business.
Alright, I'll start us out. Since we last met for the Parks and Rec Board, we have received the grant contract last summer in 2022 for the William and Martha Brown Memorial Park at Liberty Creek. So since then, we've been working. We've got our contract underway with CSCG, and they've been working since March on the design process. And so today, I've invited them here to give you a presentation on what has transpired since they began the design, from the conceptual design that we had in the park master plan to where we are today with the design. And they'll kind of give us an overview and ask for your feedback regarding the design. If you have any questions, feel free to ask those comments regarding the design. Our next step from here will be to finalize any comments, feedback, and CSCG will finalize the plan set, and we'll be submitting to hopefully TDEC for their approval of the plan set, and then proceed with the project for bidding. So, I'll just turn it over to Leland and.
Yeah, I'm Leland Howe, forward for CSCG. Ian and Emily with Southeast Ventures is supposed to show up as well. They're the architects for the pavilion. I think they're running behind because of traffic. But yeah, so I'm assuming everybody's been part of the project since the beginning. Knows kind of the background on it, so I can kind of fly through these. So since the project started, this is a brief timeline. If you want to just talk about kind of the last, basically the second half of the page and kind of the bottom of the left side of the page. We, like Kim said, started schematic design in March of 2023. In April, we submitted and won a Tennessee ASLA award for planning and analysis on the Sumner County Parks Master Plan. In October, We were chosen as the PBL for STEM certification for Living Creek Elementary, which has been awesome. And so Kim, myself, and a few other folks from our team have been able to work with the fifth graders and teach them about the park and the park process and watch the kids. There's 125 of them split off into groups of 5, so there's 25 presentations that we've gotten to sit through and kind of get feedback on and teach them about design, and it's been a really fun process going through that. So we're helping write kind of the third-party litigation piece of that not litigation, but third-party review of their PBL STEM program so that they can get accreditation. And so in November, we kicked off design development, and we have finished that meeting with general operations and Parks Advisory Board, obviously tonight, and hopefully we'll be moving into, hopefully, end of this week if we get approval to proceed based on feedback from tonight. The dates that we're trying to hit is July 14th, 2025 is the project deadline. That's the last of inspections. Can't use the money anymore, so we're trying to back into that date, giving us a few months of kind of wiggle room, knowing the review process and utilities and construction. And, you know, it's going to rain, it might not rain, it's going to freeze. We've given ourselves a few months and hoping to be done with construction of the project in April 2025, knowing that this park is mainly mowed trails. There is a parking lot, there is a pavilion, so there are some heavy construction elements, but most of the park is natural trails. We're still giving it that 12-month construction time frame just to be safe, and so we want to start construction in April of next year. In order to accomplish that, you know, we have TDEC reviews, we have site plan reviews. We've got to open up for bid and select a contractor before April of next year, and so that's why these dates are in place, and we're trying to stay as tight to the schedule as possible just to allow some. January, we're looking at submitting to TDEC. TDEC says they can turn around plans in a week. We expect to go comments with them for 2 to 3 weeks, so giving that a month time frame so that we can finalize CDs in February and open up and give Sumner County a month to kind of chew on the different contractors, get auto buys, you know, situated, and select a contractor for in March, which is giving us that April construction start. So, but all that to say, kind of going back on the next page, I think y'all were part of the master plan process and engaging the community through COVID during the pandemic, and all the processes that happened from kicking off the project through the 120-page book that I have with me tonight. And all of that in order to get the TDEC funding for the park. This was the presentation for general operations. A lot of those commissioners had not been part of the park process, so it was more about giving them kind of a rundown on the efforts that were made to get us to
up here.
this end goal. This is Ian Schreiber.
How y'all doing? Welcome. Thank you.
So this next page is just kind of snippets from the master plan document. We basically looked at demographics, surveys for all the parks, ecological frameworks, and then we looked at short-term, mid-term, long-term goals, and that's what led us to the master plan being approved in November 2020. Again, luckily we were able to win the SLA award for that. This was probably the last time y'all saw the park in its hand sketch concept to get the grant application going with TDEC. All of those elements are still in place. There's been a few items that have been added to the park based on some comments from the board and some of the commissioners over the past couple weeks. We looked at adding a kitchenette and some storage storage space to the pavilion. We were already showing storage space, but they wanted to add a kitchenette in case there was catering events or things that need to get warmed up for storage space when there was large events like state cross-country meets and things like that. We have met with the cross-country coach and helped lay out all the trails to make sure that it fits within that 5K and 2-mile running distance, and really excited about that because this is going to be a cross-country course like no other. If y'all been to the site and seen how hilly and wooded parts of it are, it's not going to be like steeplechase down in Nashville. It's going to be, again, a very tough course. There are not going to be a lot of personal bests had at this course, which is going to be fun.
It sounds like Scott Wyteka was behind it.
Scott, Coach Bridges.
So, we're really excited about the project. This is probably the last that y'all seen of kind of where the plan was.
What's the status on the elementary school? Where's
I'm the principal. We've been open for this is our second year.
at Liberty Creek? Really?
Yes.
In the middle school they started it?
It should be open, it's supposed to be
Maybe
open.
it's fall.
It's supposed to be in the
Next
fall.
fall.
Next fall.
Yep. So Liberty Creek Elementary, we're working with their 5th graders right now on that PBL, project-based learning. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like they're having a lot of fun.
Remind me also, if you will, what's the plan for the house?
Yeah, so that has been excluded from the park
Okay.
itself, and that is a separate budget item, so the money for the park doesn't go towards the house. Do you want to speak further on kind of latest?
Right now, it's just been walked up and maintained, the schools just check on it regularly. But the intent is to remove the brick from it.
Yep, I remember that, yeah.
And, nothing's changed from what they originally proposed, and then take off that back part that wasn't part of the historic structure. But that's where we are right now.
Yeah, that was one of the comments is, this whole project is kind of based around the house. It's the heart of the park, but it's not technically part of the park.
Yep.
And I think that was to have a legal kind of ways to maneuver around ways to use that structure right and make sure that it stays there and it stays historic. And, makes sense. Yeah. So moving on to the next page.
Come on in.
This is Emily.
Hi, nice to meet everyone.
So, again, looking at the schedule, just from a product standpoint, from our scope, William and Martha Brown Park, we are through design development, moving into construction documentation, and that's kind of our next step. Once we get feedback from everybody and get the approval to proceed. And those are just some basic dates of document kickoff. We've already started talking to some third-party contractors just to get a price check along the way, so that when we do send it out for bid, we want to make sure that it's under that 1.25 million and don't have any rounds of VE that we have to go through. That's value engineering for non-architectural. Yep. So those are some just better breakdowns of kind of the schedule we already talked about. So on the next page, this is colored plan of where we sit today. We have the exact same ideas and schematics, the same parking lot, trailhead, ADA access up to the Pavilion Plaza. It is on center of the Brown Home now, with some trails that kind of meander in and out, and in the plaza have kind of a better area for a stage for larger events, because that's what we kept hearing from everyone is that, day to day it might be 30 to 50, trail hikers, but there's potential for larger events like picking parties, similar to Rock Castle, and state cross-country meets, and, so we're kind of planning for larger events, but trying to keep it within budget, so we're kind of going through that dance right now. There's still 3 overlooks with shade structures. The intent for all the trails is mowed paths. Once it gets into the existing trees, it will be forest trails. And that will be, as trees are removed or fall, I think intact. The only part that might get disturbed is our bridge crossing to get to the amphitheater on the southern property. And we'd love to reuse some of those trees if able to for benches, seating. There was a surplus of rock from all the last tree in middle school. Those have since walked away somehow. Yep.
Two questions. Sorry to interrupt. I remember a while ago when we were talking about this, one of the potential issues is going to be that bridge. So that with the approval from TDEC for the grant and everything, we got approvals to build a bridge over the waterway.
Yes, there'll be an ARAP on it.
Okay.
And our civil engineers know a lot more about it than I do, but basically, we would be submitting for ARAP permits as long as TDEC.
So are we going to have bollards or anything like that where vehicles cannot readily access the house?
Yes, so we will have, bollards where the parking starts at the the concrete side. Some instances, but yes, we will definitely have safety in mind from a vehicle standpoint. There is discussion about these state meets and whether they should, buses and families should park at the middle school and elementary school and walk over.
Just a little parking lot, making it for one of the big leagues, have it drop off only. The parking, the drop offs, and I see where there's an in and an out, and maybe have bus parking at the elementary school and car parking at the middle school, and if we have to at the high school. That's one nice thing, that you've got huge parking lots at schools for those needs, because some of them are big.
Yeah, and Wolfpack Way is a massive road, right? So
You
there
definitely have to shuttle from the high school to the,
Yes.
to there, there's a mile, from our place to there.
Yeah.
I was even curious if buses could park on Wolfpack Way
They could,
and have.
what I would do, because the elementary is probably gonna have the smaller of the parking lots, is have bus parking, let buses come in and drop off, and then take them and park them at the elementary school, and have car parking at a different location. That's what we do at the state, we have bus parking in one place and car parking in a different place.
Yep.
But access coming out both sides is huge, and if they have to walk a little bit, coaches can come and drop their tents and their kids off, then we could, for a big meet, maybe we could possibly have some shuttles.
Yeah, there was a question about that from Jen Ops about how for state meets, obviously that's like on weekends, right? When school's not in session.
Yes, the biggest cross countries are on the weekends, or some of them are just, some of the regular meets might be 8 or 10 teams in their afternoon, after school's out. But the state meets are on Thursday and Friday, but that's a contract that we would have to go after. Because they bid that out, right now it's a Sumner County parking in Henryville, and that's where it's going.
That was what they did. The buses drove up to kids got off, and then they parked out by the water
Yes,
for that meet. So
I had
that's what they're used to.
yes, that's what they're used to, and but that's a perfect drop off right there, and then they can walk right down the path, and we'll have, you'd have designated areas for the team tents. It's going to out pretty good.
Yeah,
They have to, if mama has to walk a little ways, and mama just have to walk a little ways.
and that's actually, we set up the start and the finish of the cross country race to start, just in front of the pavilion and head, west and into the trees and all the way back there. But the finish actually comes down the hill and finishes in the chute of trees that's like in alignment with the Brown House.
Yeah.
So kids will be able to, that's a great photo op finish.
Yeah.
Kind of straight at the Brown House, and it worked out pretty well.
It's good for, it's good for everyone.
Any other questions on the plan? So on the next sheet is more of an enlargement of that pavilion we'll get into more of the architecture view sheets later, but just from a landscape hardscape standpoint, this is the only area that we're proposing trees. We have a few scattered around the trail just for shade, but understanding irrigation is going to be really hard to get to those areas. We want to kind of focus our actual physical plantings in this plaza area so that maintenance kind of, once you leave the plaza, is more, you know, kind of up to like hand watering and natural meadows. So the intent of this is grow trees for shade long term so that people can set up tents and kind of families can sit underneath those trees and watch their kids, you know, start the race, finish the race. Be a great place to put like a blanket down, you know, during the summer. You can see that even events, receptions and things that are happening, that'd be more of a spill-out area for maybe some like bar height, kind of movable furniture if there was drinks or something at this bar. I think it's just a good opportunity for just shade, right? So in the pavilion, pavers outside the pavilion into decomposed granite, so softer, finer mix, and then obviously your concrete trail. We do have ADA access to the Brown House and pavilion. We are looking at doing an educational sign once we get. We think that's really important for the project, just to tell people, you know, when it was built, why it's important, history on the Brown family, you know, how this park even came to be, and how special it is because of the Brown family. And yeah, any questions on that? So then the amphitheater, it was originally fenced in boulder walls. Again, the boulders got legs and walked away, so we simplified it to probably CMU block, stone veneer to keep that native limestone feel to it, but we've simplified it to 3 terraces with stairs so that it can be used as an outdoor classroom. You can see kids sitting on those stairs. I know this line work is a little large, so it's pretty hard to see, but still in tandem stage terraces with stairs up, and then it leads into the trails, and it's a heavy slope back up. We've moved the amphitheater to be centered in between these 2 patches of existing trees. We went out with Kim and Don Long out to the site, and just based on an aerial and kind of GPS that we had on our I think it'll create some pretty interesting acoustics for that nook. So then next page is where the picnic pavilion sits as of today. And Emily or Ian, if y'all want to run with that.
Yeah, so the main stone would be something like a limestone, kind of what we have still all over the site. And it has a more traditional feel to it, just to represent the Martha Brown Memorial House. The wood is going to be a darker wood to represent the Revolutionary War beams that they used to have, and they used in the William Martha Brown House. But yeah. Any questions? Oh.
Sure, up to the layout.
Yes, the size is similar to the Rock Castle. That was our precedent kind of study. I think that's what everybody agreed on from the beginning. We simplified it a little bit, but main takeaways are native limestone stone, similar to the boulders that were found on the site, and we're trying to figure out whether to match the wood to the log house with stain, or try to find some old wood, distressed wood, and try to somehow match them, or at least make them feel like they're one and the same.
What is the house? Poplar, red oak?
I'm not sure. I asked that the other day.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
How old is the house?
It's old, the late
poplar would.
That's what I'm thinking,
Yeah.
yellow poplar. If you could match, I think if you could match it, shouldn't be hard to get. I just figured y'all had looked at that.
Yeah.
It's all cool.
We've got the photos of the area.
It's encapsulated, isn't it?
Yeah, so.
When on
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
on the site visit, we did go in the interior of it, and they were able to see the exposed, when you go into the living area, the log is exposed in the living room area. So as of now, that's kind of our sample to go by. And then I think the schools did take off just a little piece to just make sure that it was the way it was installed, that they could take off the brick and that the wood wasn't damaged, and that it seems that that's the case. So it would be a good candidate to remove the brick and have the wood exposed, just based off of that little investigation that they did. They only did just a little area.
If you used a something distressed that's not matching. I don't know.
Yeah, we're trying to play the game of low maintenance,
Sure.
but do we want it to try to match the look day one? Or do we want to let it kind of naturally weather and
Like it is
emulate that
200
color?
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an in-between of, you don't want it to look alien and out of place when it shows up. Take a couple years to get there, but you also don't want to have to pay to restain it every 3 or 4 years to try to keep that color.
Well, that was my next question, the maintenance of that being exposed the way it is. What's your thoughts on that, how often that would be, or, I mean, roughly?
Depends on who you hire and how.
Of course, the type of wood would dictate that too.
So these are some great questions for y'all to kind of chew on.
Where's the kitchenette? Is that in, didn't you say in the
Yeah.
pavilion?
Yes, if you flip to the next page,
I see, yeah.
there's an option
I
for
knew I should have waited.
the kitchenette. Has a sink and a microwave, a lot of counter space in there actually, and a nice big storage room with your 2 restrooms on the side. We're thinking about moving that kitchen down where the men's restroom is and flip-flopping that, so that you could have like a little window in the kitchenette or something so it's not so dark in there, but, yeah.
I have a question about the kitchenette.
Yeah.
Assuming that we'll have an event on this side, like if you're going into the kitchen, you're going all the way around the back of the building, is there an option for, a door or some kind of serving from that side?
Yeah, and that was the thought with moving it to where the men's is that way you could enter off the side, and either have the door or the serving window. And for an event, you keep a nice clean wall behind it if you want to put up signage or banners or anything.
Stage or something like that.
Yeah.
Fire codes dictate the size of what they need, maybe I'll.
The pavilion as a whole. Yeah, well, since we are just doing a warming space and not a commercial kitchen use.
That makes more sense, that on the window.
Yeah.
More access. Easier. Agree.
And then on the next page, these are some overlook shades.
Yeah, so the thoughts behind this, but it'd be something a little bit more simple and contemporary, but using the same materials as the pavilion, the large pavilion. So.
Just like that, or would it have benches too, or?
Yes, we're looking at that right
There's going to be one overlook or three overlooks?
There's three.
Three, yeah.
I got one here. Where's the other one? Am I looking
One to the west of that, and then southern.
Yeah.
Let me get an old plan.
Yeah. Okay.
My quick thoughts, just something, less maintenance, less to be vandalized, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If it's more limestone, it'd be there a long time, I would assume.
You're saying
The
walls?
benches, the bench.
Yeah, the walls instead of, picnic tables.
Yeah. I mean, that's just my thoughts. Yeah, there you go. I mean, if somebody will figure it out, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's all. I can figure them out.
So would that be something built into the actual structure, or that would just be from
No, it would
the
be
pad of,
standing underneath it.
okay.
So am I reading this right, that all three of them will be, is it 25 by 10?
Yeah.
That's right.
This looks pretty neat to me.
Sweet.
Do y'all have any other comments, like on the overlook structure, the picnic pavilion?
What's the floor under the overlook going to be? Did you say it was stones or just concrete or?
Yeah, so under the overlooks, we've been kind of going back and forth, and right now we're showing concrete and a trail that leads into that concrete patio. I was tossing around the idea of more of like a decomposed granite, but there's maintenance to that,
Yeah.
but it's more natural feeling. A little bit more decorative gravel, and Kyle and I were discussing that and decided just to show concrete right now.
What does decomposed granite look like?
Yeah. Can you see a picture? There's different size spines and rocks in decomposed granite, and we, on this project, would actually probably look at decomposed limestone, the native. But you can get it in all varying sizes, but I'm sure you've seen it at either gardens or beer gardens or kind of all over the place. Basically crushed gravel.
But it looks like granite with seams in it.
No, it would be more of like a gravel bed. It'll just be a little finer, not quite to a same.
The granite or the limestone.
And Leland, would you guys do a stabilizer in it, or just let it?
Organic rock binder on it, just so that it doesn't move and shift, and there's not constant maintenance on keeping it in its curve or in its edging. There is a little bit of maintenance on that would have to happen. But to me, concrete feels really cold and heavy on those overlook areas.
Yeah.
Especially the grass is just coming up to meet it, but something we can talk about.
Talking about maintenance, Kim, has the commission or the county executive talked about, like, who's gonna be responsible? Is it the county, the school board?
We have a memorandum of understanding with the Board of Education, and they'll be responsible for, like, setting the hours and for the use, and the Board of Education maintenance crew is going to be responsible for all the mowing. And then if necessary, if they need our assistance for Bond County maintenance, there's statements in there that will assist as needed. So it's between the two maintenance departments, they would work jointly.
But we won't have anybody assigned from the county side per park.
Not specifically. Right now, there's, I think, at least one maintenance person that is there at Liberty Creek. And there's some talk that they may, once all this is open, assign another person. So, but right now, they would have at least one maintenance person that's there all the time.
But it's more under the school board.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So you mentioned mowing, what about, there's gonna be a lot of bathroom maintenance, there'll be school boards as well.
We're still working out those details, but between that, and the Sumner County custodians, we'll just need to, we haven't had all those conversations. The Greenway, our Sumner County custodians go out twice a week, clean the restrooms, empty the trash along the Greenway. So we'll just need to talk through, depending on the use, how much, like on the Greenway in the wintertime, we only go once a week, versus in the summer, high use areas, we go twice a week. So those are the types of things, depending on if there's a big event.
Facility use documentation, people have to go through and use the park for it then.
That's one thing that's talked about in the memorandum of understanding, so we'll have to work through setting up those guidelines. And it does mention in there, talking through with the park board, so that might be something that we bring back to the committee.
Yeah, I think for use of school buildings, okay? Yeah, I would think this one more than some of the others, but even like Aaron may have, you know, you have events, you have documentation, we'll probably pick the back off of what he's already got, because he already does events at County Park. But those things are,
I mean, we got that in place for them, I mean, we mow ours out at Levis Park, so.
Hendersonville Parks, they, you know, for pavilions, you sign up to use it.
yeah.
It's easy enough to copy their documents too.
I see that as being one thing that's between the Board of Education.
Once you set your policy, then it's done. So,
Yeah, the documentation, where's documentation go?
yeah.
Is there gonna be a usage fee to cover, you know, if you have a reception there, to cover custodial or particular, grounds work that you know might need to be done? That kind of stuff. I just know they use our school buildings. You know, we have developed over time, things.
Or Douglas Clark, they've got to provide their copy of their
Yes,
certificate.
that's what we do too, it's pretty standard. Stuff.
Has the commission talked about setting aside any funds or any, percentage of taxes to go toward our park? Has there been any discussion of that in the last 2 years since we started developing this?
Not specifically setting aside, they did approve the additional, request that we had requested jointly through last fiscal year through the Historic Commission and the Parks Board, and that capital money is there for this fiscal year. So that's
been set aside.
that money has been set aside.
But they hadn't earmarked like,
Project by project.
Yeah, project by project.
Aaron, and what you had to deal with before, if you had a specific need, you had to apply for specific. You know, when we talked about as this group of parks gets bigger, having some kind of revenue stream.
and things of that nature.
They are funded project by project throughout. But for this board, everybody was kind of on their own. Whoever was running each one of the sites. But now it's kind of, you know, if you've got down at the board, it's kind of more unified. So I think eventually that's what, you know, but that might be a lot of projects.
Well, I think it's but the stage that our county's in and the development of the parks that we're doing, I think it has to be discussed. I mean, it's my opinion. Just a thought.
Well, this board has been around for, what, 2 years now? And we were just brought about to get the state money. I guess there was some federal dollars too. So we're infants as far as
Sure.
boards go. And of course, we'd have to get any power granted to us by the county commission. Yeah, all that's in the future.
But as their budget stuff comes up, and you have to get it just during the front end of their budget year.
Yeah, it would just be submitted through the annual budget process.
Because the mayor had any discussions of it.
To my knowledge.
Okay, where do we go next?
Okay. Do y'all have any other comments towards the design, anything we should change or, before we finalize the?
We got natural trails that you can do a mountain bike or walking on those, or can you walk on that?
I think they're mainly for walking. I think it might be a little too short for mountain biking, but I don't think there's any restrictions on that, I wouldn't think. I mean, we're including that it's 10-foot wide trail, so it's not like these are single track.
Yeah.
You know,
I was gonna say, that needs to be a topic of discussion because, you know, a lot of places are either or.
Right.
Yeah, for safety reasons. Tend to be.
How about your risk management questions?
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that we want us to look at, I think. I'd be absolutely for it. We can try to figure out how to get some trails in place, but, yeah, as of right now, they're pretty wide trails, and, usually hikers and bikers don't mix, so.
Right.
Especially when you got the grades and stuff that this.
Is there enough room out there to do some separate mountain bike trails?
I was thinking didn't we discuss that some would be walking, some would be, I know we discussed.
We discussed it. Yeah, we discussed it because.
I've been a lot, I've slept since then.
Yeah.
I just remember discussing the bike.
Yeah. That's a possibility. I think we have a mountain bike community in Sumner County that's pretty big, and that would be a good use. If we had to have a separate mountain bike trail, maybe around the outer edge of the property. Yeah. Could you get a mile in around the whole thing?
Yeah, so the cross-country trail, the 5K is completely contained in the north property. It doesn't even go into the southern property just for safety. So I'm sure there's probably a way we can figure out how to squeeze a couple miles or a mile or two out of the perimeter of it, and maybe it comes up and maybe we try to not crisscross the mulch trails too.
Around the high school and the middle school.
So we wouldn't be able to show that on our drawings because we're limited to our
Well,
property.
let's keep it to what we can do something with.
That's school, that would become school property.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Even though we have Greenway on school
Right.
property in places. Greenway, she was at, Cam2 Elementary. Right between our buildings. Really?
That's not good.
It is wonderful out there. I like.
The only people that I think ever used that particular sidewalk were the people that lived in apartments that were going to her school. They would come across the backyard, and I was like, and we knew them, we would wave at them. But the other part went down the side and across the back, but it was still school property up there. But that's a whole different thing to tackle.
You said the 5K, what is this, the 5K up at, you said at the north end? Is it that loop there, basically?
Yeah, it crisscrosses on itself a little bit, but if I can draw it here and probably show you. So, I don't know if you can see this or not, but, so it starts off here and goes all the way around the outside into the woods, down the hill and around, comes back up, and then loops back on itself for a second loop down here, and then comes to the finish. And we had to do that to get to that 5K.
So it's kind of out of the middle here and then?
Yeah.
At that overlook?
Yep, because this is where all the steep topography is, and so the thought was his families could be there, at the start of the race and quickly walk up the hill to see them come around and watch them do this part of the trail again, and then come back down the hill to cheer, their family and friends on as they come to the finish. So you're leaving kind of central spine open for families to kind of walk back and forth.
Be nice.
Yeah, crawling.
Once that horn goes off, it is a mass run to the top of the highest points. You can just imagine some of the ones.
High school is painted up,
Seriously, on that mountain bike thing, we could even get a mountain bike club to commit to maintaining the mountain bike trail. If we could get one put in there.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I can get that.
Yeah, I know mountain bike trails cost a little more than obviously just mowed trails, so maybe that could be a phase 2 thing, but we can absolutely start looking at where those
Where it's gonna go, at least that, and then we can work on it from there.
I think this park's gonna get a lot of use.
This is really cool. I think it's great. Yeah, it's gonna get a lot of good use.
You're already using it.
We have
I mean, your kids are doing it.
all the kids that work with them, that was, and we're going for STEM accreditation this year, so it's really tied in really well for them to actually be part of a real life problem. You don't always get that.
Yeah, it's been really fun, and I can't believe how engaged they are.
That's
When I was in 5th grade, I promise you I was not,
Yeah.
being that excited to,
Yeah, I was amazed with the ideas they came up with,
how realistic
how
they were.
realistic they are, yeah.
When, Farrah was kind of giving me the breakdown on it, I just assumed this to be, Transformer fighting grounds, or food trucks on, Taco Bell stands and stuff, and all of them seem to have really realistic ideas. I mean, even so realistic that potentially we go after another grant a couple years from now and get, like a pollinator garden or, something like that, kind of towards the front parking areas.
How about a bat house?
That was one of the.
That was one of them.
That's
Yep.
a great thing.
Yep.
Yeah, a great big old structure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you've got, actually got endangered species in the retreat. you know, I had a parent, we first moved up there before they built the elementary school. She came in and she was so upset. And she says, you have to make an announcement to the children. I went, what? She goes, there are coyotes. Well, Big Station Camp was a gravel road. We were the only thing out there. And I said, yes, ma'am, there are coyotes out here. Well, you're not going to make an announcement to the children. That thing. I said, if I turn these kids loose, that coyote will find another place.
They're all over Sumner County.
Yes, they
They're
are.
I've seen them in my backyard in Hendersonville.
Yeah.
They're all over the.
We're not taking trash to the dumpster with the coyotes out there.
Yeah.
So here we were at 6:30 in the morning, taking the trash out, so we get the trash can back. Yes, we have lots of wildlife in our building that first year.
Okay, do we need to vote on it, make a decision?
If y'all are ready, or if you feel like you need more time, we can.
What do y'all think? Do we need to discuss it anymore? I like it.
We need to make a motion to accept the plan.
Let's make sure our scribe is.
She's got the recorder going.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, we'll entertain a motion to accept this proposal.
And move forward. I'll make that motion.
All right. A second?
Second.
All those in favor? Anybody opposed? We're in. Good job. Feels nice to be a part of history, Sumner County history. 200 years from now, they won't know who in the heck we were. But we will.
Which is probably good.
Yeah,
they don't want to know me.